My name is Anita. I'm a director at the London Stock Exchange Group. I've been in London for 7 years. My journey has been an interesting one. So how did I move to London? I was just sitting in Nairobi, minding my own business, drinking water, as we all should. And then a recruiter came into my DM, asked me whether I want to move to London. The first year I said no, because I wasn't interested. I was not trying to move away from Nairobi. Then I think 1 year later, they came back again and asked me whether I want a job. What I didn't know is when you're moving abroad, you need to understand what titles they are giving you. Context. So I used to work for Deloitte East Africa on Wayaki Way. There, I was going to be an assistant manager. And what they were offering me was like a senior, which is less, so I said no. And then they came back and told me assistant manager. And then I was like, oh yeah, hell yeah, I'll take that because it's the same thing. And I really wanted to do my master's abroad. Only to get to the UK and find out that assistant manager is actually a glorified senior. So basically what that meant is I was going to do the same thing I've been doing here for, I think, 2-3 years. Anyway, the damage was done. I'd already accepted the job. I'd moved abroad. So there's a lot I can speak to about navigating, but I guess the first one is being intentional. So what do you want to do and where do you want to get to, right? So when I first moved to London, I was not looking for jobs. I was just living a day at a time rather. And all I wanted to do was to do my master's and then 3 years later, come back home. Then COVID happened. I was stuck in the UK. That was year 4. So I thought, year 4, I might as well just finish year 5, get my residency, stay on. And now it's year 7. I got my citizenship as well. So can you clap for me? Thank you. Yeah. So the first one is being very intentional about where you want to be, where you are, and where you want to go. The second bit I'll maybe speak to is, see, the education system in Kenya teaches you how to cram, at least for us who did 844, right? We all agree it teaches us to cram. Does it teach you not to cram? Guys, you'll have to pay back for lunch. We're not working together. Does it teach you to cram? Good. So the education system in the UK is a bit different. So I learned that as I was doing my master's. You have to think critically, right? And communication is such a big aspect to it. Having been and I'm not flossing, an A student all my life, when I went there, it's the first time I ever got a 50% in my studies. No, my answers were not wrong, but it's just how I was documenting my answers. So which goes back to how we communicate, right? So how this system teaches us to cram, and I find it more hierarchical, but when you move abroad, you'll have to almost change your communication style. It comes easier to people who've been either in international schools or if you've always been, or your parents have always been abroad, like you are exposed to that. So I think one thing that you really need to work on as you're trying to navigate your career is how you communicate and how you present yourself. So communication is from how you talk, what your brand is about, how you just present yourself, etc., all that good stuff. Okay, I think that's one of the things. And then another unfortunate truth is bias, right? So by virtue that you're black, outrightly, you'll have to work a bit harder than your colleagues. It might just be something as simple as starting a group or creating an idea or anything, basically. It's so simple to, it's very easy for you to come up with something, because by virtue that you've lived here, you know what hard work is and you know how to work hard, basically. So anyway, I guess the point here is you need to find something that will differentiate you from other people. Are we together? Guys, why are you so boring? Yeah? Okay, that goes into our 5th, upskilling yourself. When I started my career, I was your traditional auditor, right? I did external audits, internal audits, risk assessments, boring audits, basically. But as time has gone by, I've tried to stay very in touch with what's happening. So when I first moved, GDPR, if you remember what that is, it was about data privacy, was the in thing. And that was my time to do a skill uplift on what can I do? What certifications can I do around GDPR? I went, I did the certification. I found it very boring, so I just stopped. Like, I didn't change my career at that point. But as time has gone by, I've been able to do other things like ESG assurance. ESG is such a big topic that I can actually do my job now and get a side hustle for it as well and be like very rich. Like, everyone will want a piece of, can you do ESG assurance for me? So that's one of the ways, as well as I've just rerouted my career to something very different. So I'm not your traditional auditor. What I do is change and transformation. What that means in short is every organization has a project in the name of transformation. So my work is to go and ensure that those projects are implemented and the benefits are realized, in summary. So what that has done is, and this is how I ended up in London Stock Exchange, by the way, it's very hard to get someone who has change and transformation skills and internal audit skills. So that was my differentiator between me and your traditional auditor. And even now, as I recruit, it's been very difficult. I moved from country to country trying to get senior managers to fill those positions, and I can't till now. So yeah, so just differentiating yourself from everybody else. And the last thing is, imagine just have faith in yourself. You can do anything. You can be anything you want to be. Because I know someone in the morning spoke about like finding your own purpose. The world is your oyster. It's not that hard to get a job or move abroad or even navigate the career. It's more about knowing what you want to do, where you want to go. Networking. LinkedIn is the most underrated thing ever. So guys, please get onto that LinkedIn. Apply for those jobs. Imagine you'll get those jobs. It may seem like, oh my God, it's such a high position, but it's not. You can actually do it. You'll find that when you move abroad, you know a lot more than people abroad know. It's just that maybe your communication, your confidence, those are things you'll need to work on anyway. But the reality of it is you can do a much better job than most people can. Yeah? Yeah, I think I'm done.